Hi and welcome to Conversations in the Living Room. This is episode 5, and if this is your first time of joining us here, my name is T.
My name is Drew.
And we're a gay married couple that have been together for 10 years. Only got married last year, but our wedding anniversary is coming up soon. Time has flown by. So on today's special episode, we are going to be talking about friendships and how they affect your romantic relationships. So you're going to be finding out different kinds of friends you have around you and see if you can pick up any clues to how good or bad they have been.
Yeah, so we went through the archives, we reflected on our 10 years of being in relationship with one another, and we came up with these 6 categories of friendships that you need to be aware of. You need to know how to navigate these friendships. You need to know what impact that they have on your relationship or potential impact they can have on your relationship. And we're going to give you the tools to, maximize both the friendship and the relationship. So tune in. Now, what's the first one?
In number 1, we have the enabler. Now, this is the yes friend. Like, do you want to jump off a cliff? Go for it. Do you want to cheat on your partner? Go for it. Do you want to get married? Go for it. Now, this is the friend that sees no wrong in your eyes. Like, they like...
At least to your face.
Well... that's a different kind of conversation. But you're basically the angel in their eyes. No matter what you have done wrong, it is not your fault. It is your partner's fault. That is the enabler. And number 2, we have
the projector. You know when that one friend tells you that very, very detailed story and they try and hide it under the veil of advice when actually it's an experience that they've been through and they're projecting it onto you. So the projector will use their mainly negative experiences and use them to color your own experiences. And they'll try and make you believe them too. Like, I guess the benefit of the projector is that no red flag can get past them. Like, they've already seen it, they've already had that premonition, like they already foresee that bad behavior.
And the next one we have is the secret admirer. This is that friend that notices the little things your partner does that you don't pay attention to. The little things that your partner does for you that you're not noticing, but they're letting you know, like, oh, did you notice he did that? That's because they want your guy. They want your man. Take note of that. Or they might want you. Now, I'm not saying you guys are friends only in your eyes, but their eyes might be something different. So just pay attention to those little moments where they're like, if you were my man, I would do this for you.
The next one is the encroacher. So the encroacher, they don't believe in boundaries. Like Beyonce said, remember those walls I built? And the encroacher was like, I'm tearing them down. Like, they do not believe in boundaries at all. They will act like they're the third in your relationship, and they ain't even handing you the goodies like the third should be doing, child. They will act like the third in your relationship when you're not even polyamorous. Like, they're just always in your business. They're always inserting themselves into your friendship and into your relationship. And they don't actually, the reality is, they don't actually think that your relationship is equal to your friendship.
Wow.
I read them for Phil.
Why are you spilling so much? And in number 5, we have the hopeless romantic. We cannot say that for copyright issues. But yeah, the hopeless romantic is the one who basically wants you to stay in that relationship because the streets are bad. There is no man out there that is good for you. Like, you can figure it out. You can just work through anything. They believe in love, fairy tales, soulmates. And you look at them when you're taking that advice and you know damn well your relationship is a bit of a... what's the word I'm looking for here? Yeah, that word. So, hopeless romantic always sees good in your situation, even though it can be toxic.
Rose-tinted glasses, yeah.
Even though it can be toxic for you, they just believe in love and they will tell you to stay in there.
The next one we have is the therapist. Now, the therapist is wise, maybe even beyond their years. The therapist is able to guide you to the answers that you have been searching for. They're able to really feel like you are listened to and seen and heard. And it almost seems like they've experienced what you've experienced before, maybe even in a previous life. But the cons of the therapist is that they can sometimes have a superiority complex and they may be judgmental, but judgmental in secret. And the therapist may also not be able to acknowledge their own red flags.
Yeah. They see everything that everybody's experiencing, but they never see themselves. Always keep in mind of that. So the 3 kind of friendships we're going to focus on this episode are the enabler, the secret admirer, and the encroacher. The secret admirer.
Why are you laughing?
Because I feel like the secret admirer is pretty much the start of how we met each other. So the secret admirer was...
End up being the secret hater, child.
The secret admirer was the guy who invited me to his dinner party where I met Andrew. So in case you don't know, Andrew and I met at a dinner party where somebody who had a secret crush on me had invited me to the dinner party. I guess in a way to sort of get to know me better. In his defense, I knew about the crush he had on me. However, it was not reciprocated. We're just friends. Now, I walk into the party and I meet Andrew, which I then spend most of my time talking to Andrew. We then cultivate this relationship and start dating. I don't have much to say about the secret admirer from this point because number one, he made his advances known, but I sort of kind of quashed it. And then secondly, when things were going well with Andrew and I, he never approached me to be like, oh, like I have feelings for you, this and that. However, he took it out on you.
Why am I always the punching bag, guys? So let me keep this quite high level. So
high level, I think you should let them know how crazy that was.
Okay, at this point, I was naive to the fact that we were friends with a secret admirer. I did not know until we went out for a night on the town, you know. Ladies, leave your man at home. Hey. Anyway, we went to Turtle Bay. And you know they used to do them buy one, get one free in their cocktails chat. And as a student, I was here for it. So we went there after about 8, I kid you not, it must have been about 8 cocktails. This guy flipped. Like, his personality just completely switched. And he started just roasting Toasted and I, basically saying that like, oh, just calling us all sorts. And it just came out of nowhere. Meanwhile, I am lit at this point. So all of these insults, I'm kind of registering them, but kind of not at the same time. I'm kind of just in my world. Like I'm not someone who gets angry or aggressive when I'm drunk, but I know that that can be the default. I'm very, it elevates my mood in a good way. So he then walks me home and because you can see I'm tipsy after like giving me a tongue lashing. Walks, and not that kind, child. Walks me home. I entered my flat and then I just remember sobering up, locking the door behind me and being like, I'll never see you again. And I haven't. But you know who I have seen? My husband, who I've been together with for 11 years. And I see him every day actually. So yeah.
I think something to take out of that situation was, if you noticed, he never attacked me. Because I think maybe he still had his secret crush and knew that he doesn't want to ruin whatever future he might have with me. You've been the partner, you getting all of that, and I'm just there like, why is it happening?
I remember calling you afterwards and like we were laughing about it. Because
it's so like the kind of stories that, don't worry, I think you get to know us a lot more through this YouTube channel. Drew has stories for the most awkward. I think it's
I'm the awkward black girl.
It's a very awkward black girl. That's literally Drew's life story. There's so many awkward situations. So yeah, the secret admirer, keep an eye out for them because they get a little crazy.
If they're able to control their admiration though and understand that they aren't going to have you or they aren't going to have your person, they can actually be a force for good. So they can sometimes know your partner or you better than you both know each other. So that can be really helpful. Say if it's your partner's birthday and they have this amazing gift idea that you can get the credit for when you give to your partner because they have that admiration for them. So take all of these friendship categories with a pinch of salt because there's some good in some of them.
Yeah, actually, I think that's a good thing to say. So
there's
with a lot
good
of
and bad in all of them. Yeah.
But I think for us, what we want to do is focus on the things that you notice that could be hindering your relationship from being a success. The good is always going to be there. There's good in you.
Yeah.
Something to add on the admirer, I think a good way to always get your lick back is what Drew did for our wedding. He named the cocktail
after the secret admirer.
He did. He was
that
petty.
was petty. I'm a petty Virgo.
Very...
Remember what else you did? What I did? What did I do on one of your birthdays?
Oh. The way Drew got his lick back with the secret admirer, he named the cocktail. He named the cocktail at our wedding after the secret admirer. Very petty behavior.
Reclaiming my time, reclaiming my man.
That wasn't the worst part. So I believe it was for my, is it 25th? I can't remember what birthday it was.
Yeah.
Drew did like a secret, like almost like a secret Easter egg hunt of like different sort of moments in our life that were very pinnacle to building our relationship. And then when I got there will be a card explaining the reason why I love you is this, and with a picture attached to it. Guess what he did? He left one of the secret cards, or the cards I was hunting, at the guy's like apartment building, because this was like a few years later.
It wasn't a few days. It must have been like, this was almost like 7 years later.
7 years later. This is how you know he holds on to petty shit like that. 7 years later, when I was going on the clue hunt, I was like, where is this place? I cannot remember this place. They did not say, oh, where I first met you. I was thinking, oh, this is so romantic. Open the card, this was the picture of the sexual admirer there. And I think it's like, I can't remember what it said. Do you remember what it said?
I can't remember what it said.
But it was a picture of this guy, the guy there, and it
had the date we met or something on there.
Yeah, and it probably, I know if I'm being, I will check later, but I think the reason he said the reason why I love you is because I got you over this person.
Wow.
And the person's picture is there. I just bust out laughing because they're petty. Like
Virgo petty levels. I mean, did you hear Beyonce recorded a whole Cowboy Carter after the Country Music Awards? Like, we're petty. She was planning for 5 years, and so was I, 7.
God!
Yeah.
I just realized that I think I need to see a therapist about this because I like, are you crazy? The next one we have is the enabler.
We have had experiences with the enabler.
And
we have been the enabler.
We have had experience.
Okay, I've had experiences.
I've been
with
on the receiving
enabler.
end of Andrew and his crew of enablers.
Crew of enablers. You know what's worse than one enabler? 2. You know what's worse than 2 enablers? 4.
Oh.
Do you know what's worse than 4 enablers? 8, which was about the size of my friendship circle.
So Andrew had, back in the day, a couple of enablers. These are the people that would encourage him to do rubbish. And I think that why it took a negative effect on our relationship, this is us being truthful, was the fact that it did not allow us to work things out, in the sense that they would encourage him to go out and do what he wants to do that. And at no point were they like, but do you want to take a step back and maybe take a break from exploring and see if you want to work things out with your partner? And this is from my own experience, from like, I'm not talking about his, he was sort of leaving that experience, so I don't know what it was like for him, because we would go through moments where we would have breaks in terms of like we broke up in our relationship, and all my friends were like, it's great you're dating, but yo, like, Andrew's your guy, you're just wasting people's time. And I don't know if that was sort of received on his end, because I feel like his friendships at that time was very much, you're a single girl, do what you want to do.
Yeah, in my whole era. Yeah.
And then it's like, Tosin's come back and wants to talk to me again, and it's like, but do you need him to talk to you? Do you So it was...
I actually specifically remember, I think it was one winter, where I had a group of friends, we were all black, we were all queer, we all bonded, I think on that basis in our coming of age years. And I remember, I think it was like 2016 or 2017, one winter, we were all in a relationship. Like dominoes, each of us became single. And I think that led into our enablement era. We were all single. We were all kind of looking to explore ourselves sexually and to just release ourselves from any shame and just experiment and explore. But as a byproduct of that, so that was the positive, like, you weren't shamed. Actually, I think there was shame in that group actually, but the shame was very covert, because I would say the enabler doesn't shame you, but they do shame you. They just shame you in a very different way, like in a very different way than you'd realize. But I just remember we were all out here, we'd all be enabling each other, and none of us, I think, none of us saw a committed relationship as something that we wanted
to aspire for.
Yeah, or we didn't think it was something that we could have, because we all had come out of failed relationships at that point. So I think we were all just egging each other on to just, like, I think it was also like the year that City Girls came out. So it was like this tornado of, like, I can't say it on YouTube, but you know what I'm about to say. It was just scamming. It was a scamming summer.
I think the only positive thing to add about the enabler is they are your yes man. So whenever you feel like you want to do the craziest thing for your partner to show them love, your enabler would be like, don't think about it, just go for it. They're your yes person, and they don't tend to have an opinion that could either be good or bad. They're yes to whatever it is you're currently experiencing, and they're there for you in that sense. So they can be very positive if you are experiencing good moments with your partner and you're sharing stories. They will be your echo chamber, like, that is such a caring man. That is such a wonderful man. That is a loving man. One argument you have and you go back to them, oh my God, he just called me a twat today. Oh wow, that's a horrible man that's there. So they are good in the sense of when things are good, and they're bad in the sense of when things are bad. That's an enabler.
And they're fun too.
Enabler's a good time.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're your yes man. Last but not least, we have the encroacher. The encroacher is the person who loves being around you two as a couple. Now, how do I put it? When people get into a relationship, there is that distance they have from their friends. And I think it's not from a negative sort of concept or perspective. It's the fact that you have found somebody who is your best friend, who is your partner, and with that you are expected to spend more time with them. Now, true friends understand that and give you space to allow your relationship to blossom. However, the encroacher is that friend that, hi, you are two, but with me, we are three. Welcome to the polyamory relationship. Now, that encroacher doesn't know boundaries, doesn't know space.
And they may not also have the self-awareness to even know that they're encroaching.
Like, exactly.
Yeah.
When you're planning date nights, plan a date night for two of you and the encroacher. Now, this is all the negatives of the encroacher, but what are the positives? The positives are there are moments where you might not want to spend time with your partner to go out on that date. You have a friend who is readily available to take your partner out.
Yeah, you tend to be very comfortable with the encroacher. Like, you're able to hang around with them in a way that it doesn't take a lot of energy. Like, you don't feel like you have to entertain them or host them when you're hanging around with them, when you're with your significant other, because they're able to just fit in seamlessly in your relationship and there's no issues.
I think the encroacher also allows you to be yourself, because as a couple, there are some times where you have to put on this facade around friends, family, or whatever. But the encroacher is that one, is like, if we're arguing and the encroacher comes to our house, girl, the encroacher will be on their seat, playing their game on their phone while we're like, don't talk to me like that. And the encroacher is like, are y'all done? Okay, cool. What we doing?
What we eating?
That's it. What we eat.
What we ordering?
Exactly. So the encroacher it's that they can bring you balance. They can take you away from like the negativity that you and your partner could currently be experiencing, because they bring in a positive energy.
Yeah. And they're usually very loyal. They're like a loyal ride or die.
100%.
And they can be a good mediator as well.
Yeah. So those are the three we're going to focus on this episode. I think share your experience. Let us know what type of friend you are from the 6 we've listed.
You may be a mixture of some of them.
Yeah.
Like, these all don't exist in silos.
Exactly. So let us know what your experiences are with this kind of friendships. Which one are you? Because everybody knows themselves. What we'll do is, after we finish, on the next episode when we finish the last 6, we'll tell you which one we are in our friendship groups and in the relationship we manage. I think that would be fun.
And we'll also send in your scenarios with these types of friendships. Like, add them on the comments, like message us on social, slide in the DMs. And what we'll do in the next episodes, we will take some of our favorite scenarios or experiences you've had, and we'll talk about them live on the episode.
That should be fun. But yeah, over to you.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for joining us for episode 5 of Conversations in a Living Room, where we lift the curtain on our blueprint to love, pleasure, and relationship. See you soon.